The saying goes, it's football time in Tennessee, and that it is on this Saturday night. Out of bounds, and Kent State will have complimentary field position to start this game for an offense that has been wildly inconsistent and coming off of a loss to an FCS team, Sacred Heart, last week.
Free kick out of bounds. Number 94 on the kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
David Smith is our white hat tonight. Devin Carchman is a quarterback for Kent State. Jordan, what kind of start does he need to get off to? How does he get off to a good one?
Well, they need to get off to a fast start. You mentioned the loss last week to St. Francis. A little bit of a hangover from that Pitt game to start the year that they were in it right in the third quarter. They felt like they could just walk through last week. Slow start led to inconsistency. He's got to get the ball out of his hands with what Tennessee has on the other side of the defense early and often tonight.
They'll go 4 wide with an empty backfield on this first snap. And they're looking for a screen. J.J. Etheridge takes it past the 40.
Now that's got to be the recipe tonight for this Kent State team. Get the ball out to the perimeter. Get it out of the way of James Pierce and Omari Thomas and Dominic Bailey. All the talent that Tennessee has up front. It's looking to pin their ears back and get after Devin Carchman.
So 2nd and 3. This Tennessee defense has been suffocating. They average having allowed 6.5 points per game. Kai Thomas is the running back for Kent State. Top recruit out of Wichita, Kansas. A couple of Power 4 stops. And out of the backfield, nothing doing. On that completion to Thomas. Will Brooks in for the stop.
Kent State has played in some big stadiums in front of loud crowds before on the road, but it's going to get really rowdy tonight on Rocky Top.
J.D. Sherrod is now in at quarterback. Kent State looks at a 3rd and 1. Wilatowski had been their running quarterback. See if they go Wildcat here. And a high snap is bobbled and gets taken down. Keenan Peely in there to erase the Kent State quarterback.
Boy, the blocking was pretty good up front. If this play can get off a high snap, obviously no chance for Sherrod, and a great job by Keenan Peely. Boy, are they happy to have him back after missing all but 1 game last year. Leader of that defense set the tone early.
Veteran is 26 years old. Josh Smith punts it away. Jermon McCoy lets it bounce. Not a good punt. Going to be down at the 27-yard line. 34-yard punt. And that'll set the stage for the redshirt freshman from Long Beach, California, Nico Iamaleava. I knew, Jordan, that I was going to screw it up.
No matter how many times you practice it, you know.
I was up all night.
I know you were
rehearsing.
That's why you look the way you do already. Iamaleava.
Nico.
I know it. It's like Seal. It's like The Rock. It's like Adele. The dude is balling. Just give him one name and let's roll.
Nico it is. Look at the numbers. Josh Heupel, in the way only Josh Heupel can, raved about Iamaleava in our meeting yesterday. Nailed it. There were a couple of interceptions last week, and he's on time and on target with his first tonight to Nimrod.
Well, you're going to say on target a lot tonight, and what I love about watching Nico is accuracy is throwing it to your guy. Ball placement is throwing it away from the defense, and he does that as good as anybody in college football.
They go with the screen. They love it. That's Dylan Sampson that time. My eyebrows were raised when Josh Heupel told us yesterday he hasn't been off target with a single throw this season.
Yeah, that's
what does he mean when he said, because he does have a couple of picks.
Yeah, every decision and where the ball was exactly where it should be.
Plenty of time. He's been sensational over the middle, and that went off the hands of Squirrel White. Would have been a first down and may have been 6th with his speed.
That's what they call a broadcaster curse.
Yes.
That one maybe 6 inches behind his receiver here. Just an over route. Squirrel White, working on that second level. I mean, maybe 6 inches behind. That's a ball that Squirrel will catch every day.
Now 2nd and 10. Another screen. This time it's Brew McCoy. What a joy to spend time with Brew yesterday, the California native who had stops at both Texas and USC, picks up 9. We were here a year ago when he shattered his ankle against South Carolina. Went through 4 surgeries, painful rehab, and hard work to get back on the field. Straight ahead, first down, plenty more. Dylan Sampson. This dude, I mean, it is an embarrassment of riches for this Tennessee offense.
And look, we're going to talk about how Tennessee is primed to make a playoff run, and I believe they're a national championship contender. A lot of the attention will go to Nico, but Dylan Sampson in this run game is really the reason I feel so confident in this offense going up against anybody.
Caden Beatty is the injured Kent State Golden Flash. He's being tended to by their athletic training staff. We'll return to Knoxville in just one moment with Tennessee driving.
The thing about favorites is they're only your favorite until a new favorite tells your old favorite to beat it.
Introducing the all-new Sonic Smasher. So good, it's about to be your next new favorite.
Yo.
And they'll go off tackle this time with Dylan Sampson, and he's into the checkerboard. Touchdown Tennessee from 22 yards. That is the first rushing touchdown for Dylan Sampson this season that didn't come between the tackles. He's showing his versatility to cap a 7-play, 73-yard drive.
He is special. The SEC leader in yards through 2 weeks, and that's only in 6 quarters of work. Hot start already tonight.
Max Gilbert on for the point after. Kick is away and good. And Tennessee scores on its first possession.
I'll tell you what, Cole Cubelic down the sidelines is going to love this one. Cooper Mays, watch this pull and kick out. Watch the physicality here. The center pulling it, boom. Opening up a monster hole for Dylan Sampson, and Tennessee on the board early in Rocky Top.
We love home internet from T-Mobile. Now mesh boosts Wi-Fi all over your home. Take a class in your attic. That dead spot is gone. Stream ballet in your man cave. Learn to paint on your lawn.
He's glorious. For a limited time, get a free upgrade to Home Internet Plus. Just $50 a month.
Eric Berry.
It's been 12 consecutive quarters without allowing a defensive touchdown for this team. That's 17 straight when you factor in non-conference opponents. And under the tutelage of Tim Banks in his 4th season, this defense has turned it up this year. Just dominated North Carolina State last week in Charlotte. Right side, Kai Thomas back to the line of scrimmage.
I love watching the defense. They are aggressive. They blitz you. They come after you. They press you on the outside. This is a confident bunch under Tim Banks. And the turnaround that he's been able to achieve since he got on board in 21 is really remarkable. Unbelievable for how they play offense, how quickly they play offense. Doesn't always make it easy on a defensive coordinator, but the job he has done, I don't think he gets enough credit for.
A lot of ways to measure the success they have, but evident on that last run, reflected in this stat. They are 3rd in the country. They're allowing only 0.6 yards before contact. So they are getting on you immediately. To the slant, knocked away, and a fantastic play on the back end by Jermon McCoy. Sophomore transfer out of Oregon State.
Yeah, that's one of those guys that really unlocks this defense as well. They play a lot of man coverage. Talking to Tim Banks, not sure what you're going to get in the portal sometimes, but he surprised them. But how big, athletic, physical he was on the outside, they can leave him on an island, like they'll probably do right here on 3rd down.
3rd and 10.
Well, you better have the plan for that guy, James Pierce Jr. at the top of your
One bad snap all the way back towards the end zone. And the ball still loose. Who got it? It'll be points for Tennessee either way. We'll either give them 6 or give them 2.
The state covered the ball in the end zone, results in a safety.
Kai Thomas recovered it. It is a safety, and the Tennessee defense puts more points on the board.
Well, the second high snap we've seen, and here's the reason why the center's trying to get all the way across the face on this guy right here. So he's got to move quick and move fast, not thinking about the snap. It goes high for the second time, and another big negative play. You might say unforced error, but that one, because of how good this defensive front is and how much respect this offensive line for Kent State has to have, that's causing those high snaps as much as anything.
Well, Jordan, keep in mind, you swap centers. True freshman Elijah Williams, they didn't want him in this spot for reasons like that. Move him over to guard. So now Tony George is going a little bit there. Has played it in the past, but that reach block that you just mentioned, I mean, you're essentially turning completely to the side. So your body's changing directions, and you're trying to do it at 100 miles an hour, get out there wide. A lot of times, outside zone or blocking back to maybe a 3 technique who's on the outside shade of a guard. You're trying to get a lot of width like that. Is when your snaps usually go left or right. High sometimes, that's tough. That's just a little bit too much momentum, maybe a little bit too much intensity on the football.
Well, Kent State on its 2 third downs tonight has lost 30 yards. This is a program that is used to playing in big stadiums, especially over the last 5 years, whether it's Penn State, Georgia, Texas A&M. They'll be at Penn State again next weekend. But obviously, this crowd is bothering Kent State here early. They played in front of 11,000 last week, almost 10 times that this week. Here's the freshman, Luke Matthews, and he finds the perimeter after the short kick, and on his first touch of his career, he takes it to midfield.
I talked about the accuracy from Nico Iamaleava. It doesn't happen by accident. Watch his feet. He's so diligent about getting his feet in front of his receiver, especially on these in-breaking routes. It's the hardest for a quarterback to reset quickly and be accurate. Throw the ball out in front of his receivers. Watch his feet. It's like he's on a clock. Tick, tick, tick. Gets him in front of the receiver, and that's why he has been so accurate, especially to the middle of the field. And that really unlocks this offense. When you spread a defense wide, the grass and the space occurs down the middle of the field, and he's been so good.
He was a consensus 5-star recruit, rated the #1 player in his class. Leaves the pocket on the run, delivers, and that's complete to Brew McCoy.
And as talented as Joe Milton was as a thrower of the football, a lot of times I think he took his arm for granted and didn't reset his base. And you saw some of the inaccuracies last year from this offense. This year, Nico, far and above.
Pardon me, incomplete. McCoy was out of bounds when he hauled that one in. They go another wide receiver screen as they try to spread out this Kent State defense, and stepping throws Mike Matthews. And here is one reason that the freshman from Parkview High School outside of Atlanta shows so much promise.
And Joey Halsley really excited about Mike Matthews. Got injured in camps. This is really the first look we're seeing at this talented true freshman. 6'1", about 200 pounds.
Nico over the middle, complete. It's Chaz Nimrod. He takes it inside the 5, a pickup of 28. And here comes tempo. Tennessee will race to the line.
The window for that to be completed was ridiculous.
Iamaleava is on target again. Straight ahead. Sampson bottled up. No gain. Rocco Nickel had to stop that time for Kent State. And other balls using a little bit of clock, looking at a 2nd and goal. Want the perfect play call. Iamaleava out of the shotgun. Sampson straight ahead again. And again, nothing.
Good job bringing a little pressure off the edge that time. Able to get to the running back before that cutback lane opens up for Dylan Sampson. This is an area that Tennessee can improve on in the red zone. When you go so much tempo, sometimes slowing down in this area, you get stuck in the mud.
Iamaleava on the roll. He's got the end zone in his sights, takes a hit, hits the pylon, and he is out at the 1. And that'll set up 4th and 1. They're going to leave the offense on the field.
So dynamic with his legs, but a great open field tackle there on the outside by Josh Backa.
Tennessee 2 for 2 on 4th down this season. They're going big.
Yeah, they got big. They brought the tight ends in the game.
Ran a lot of 12 personnel last week. Miles Kitselman on the left side of that line. Straight ahead. Sampson gets in. Touchdown Tennessee. Sampson's second of the night. Another 7-play drive. That one only needed to cover 48 yards after the short punt. Max Gilbert for the point after. (16-0) Tennessee. They've scored on offense and defense so far tonight.
Boy, Nico's feet is really a work of art. You saw it pay off big time on that drive, but just watch how diligent he is, working his feet through the progression, always on balance, shifting once again to get it out in front of the receiver, so he's on balance, eyes and feet all married up to where he's throwing the football. And watch the accuracy on this throw. It is next level, right out in front. That window is tight to set up the beef on the left side of the offensive line, just caving down the Kent State defense.
This is a Tennessee offense which is obviously prolific, but a big part of their success is they hit you right out of the gate. They lead FBS with a scoring margin in the first quarter plus 45 points. Luke Floria out of Mentor, Ohio, back to receive this one, and it will be over his head. And this Kent State offense, which they got off to a really slow start last week, came in looking not only to snap the nation's longest losing streak at 11 games, but they only have one top 25 win all time, 1-36. That came against Rutgers, that lone win in 2012. And Tennessee defense, little numbers. Like Tony Vitello would be happy with the numbers that they put up.
Absolutely. And that's where if you're Kent State offensive coordinator Mark Carney, that there's not a 16-point play. You wanted to come to this game and slow down the tempo. So
if
Kai
this
Thomas,
was rock and jock football, there might be a 16-point play.
But Kai Thomas, running back's got to get more involved here.
We've got Curtis Douglas in at running back to start this series, and he's able to get a few yards off the left side.
Kai Thomas, a really good player, started his career at Minnesota with head coach Kenny Burns as well, the running back coach there. Rushed for over 800 yards his freshman year there. Wanted to be the guy the next year, wasn't guaranteed that, so transferred to Kansas. Probably should have stayed. Wasn't the best choice, but now getting another chance to reunite with head coach Kenny Burns here at Kent State. That second chance to make his career what he thought it should have been at Minnesota. Really talented guy they need to continue to lean on.
He showed flashes with the Jayhawks, had a great Liberty Bowl a few years ago against Arkansas, a couple of touchdowns in a triple overtime game. To the slant, that one batted away and incomplete. But Thomas has been battling an ankle issue that got him out of the game for some time last week. 3rd and 7 now. Bad snaps, previous 2 third downs from Tony Georges, the center.
Well, third in the passing situation is not where you want to be for Kent State. With James Pierce Jr. at the top of your screen there, one of the best pass rushers in the entire country. A wide split right now. He's going to make a run at Devin Cardsman.
Try to run it, 3rd and 7. And Keenan Peely in there to hog tie Curtis Douglas. In a punting situation for the Golden Flashes of Kent State. As much depth as Tennessee has shown over the course of this young season, Kent State attacking from an entirely different perspective. Second fewest returning players in the country from last year, only 57. The third in the country behind Colorado and Charlotte. In transfers, they've brought on 38 newcomers in 1 year. Smith punting away to McCoy. Good punt. McCoy to the 26. Sidesteps a few more. And McCoy near midfield. Special teams has been sensational for Tennessee so far tonight. That was a 21-yard return. When we return, it's more Tennessee offense. Nico Iamaleava already off to a great start.
Just ignited the fire inside.
You're playing with fire, kid. Laptop's unmade to handle all that. Multiple apps, big files. You think it won't crash? You're a hot dog in a hurricane.
It's a Mac. It's running fine.
Week 1.
And really their best cover guy. It's actually cover 2 to that side. So the corner's squatting. Bru McCoy's got to adjust that route down the sidelines against that coverage.
No luck in the run game with Deshaun Bishop, local product out of Carnes High School here in Knoxville, coming off of a career high against NC State. And now 3rd and long for Tennessee in quick tempo. A lot of 12 personnel last week. Very few tight ends on the field so far tonight. No flag, no jump. Iamaleava dials deep, got a man, touchdown, Tennessee! Chris Brazzell for 53 yards. That arm strength will make you say, wow. First quarter dominance continues for Big Orange, the 7th-ranked team in the country, already out to a 22-0 lead. 3 touchdowns and a safety. Point after is good.
Boy, Cole mentioned how deep this receiver group is. I agree with him, one of the deepest and most talented in the country. Chris Brazzell, the transfer from Tulane, just going to run a go route at the top of your screen. He's just going to run right by this DB, but this DB in cover 4, here's what you can't do. When a guy's attacking your leverage, you can't have your eyes back at the quarterback right now. Loses track of that receiver, and by the time he realizes it, it is done, and the arm strength on full display from Nico. That was a rocket.
He has had some big arm quarterbacks. Joe Milton comes to mind from last year, and over the years, Josh Heupel's quarterbacks here at Tennessee, most in the FBS with 35 touchdown passes of 40 yards plus. They spread you out, they hit you deep. That was a go route, and he was gone.
Well, they put you in a bind, right? They throw those perimeter screens so often, those safeties get their eyes in the backfield, expecting it. And all of a sudden, one guy's by you.
First touchdown of the season for Brazzell. And a touchback. This Kent State offense under Devin Cargman, who is 2 for 4 for 9 yards. They've run 9 plays. They have minus 16 net yards.
Not ideal.
Less than.
All right, but how do you get it going, right? If you're offensive coordinator Mark Carney, a couple times early on their first drive, the perimeter screens were picking up 5 or 6 yards. But the problem is Tennessee started pressing at the line of scrimmage, taking away that space at the line of scrimmage, playing in their face, causing these receivers and the timing to disrupt.
2 years ago, head coach Sean Lewis left Kent State to be a coordinator at Colorado. That didn't end well, didn't finish the season there. And they've had to try and revamp who they are offensively. Luke Floria, former Boston College commit, with the catch. And Cole, they talked a lot about that transition from being an up-tempo, go-fast offense to being more deliberate. And it's been a tough challenge for Kent State.
Have to have the big personnel to be able to do that. Funny how much Tennessee has stressed adding the big personnel, because when Sean Lewis was the head coach at Kent State, they were very similar to what Tennessee was here in Knoxville, pushing the ball down the field, going up tempo. Had some really good football players, though, and I think not utilizing the portal maybe to the extent that they could have, wanting to build it through traditional recruiting. They just don't have the bodies right now to be overly competitive.
On the ground, Curtis Douglas. Yeah, to your point, his coaching staff, they know struggles. Kenny Burns was with P.J. Fleck in Minnesota. They won just one game their first year. And now they're facing another third down. This is third and short at least. They're 0 for 3 on third down so far.
I think Elijah Simmons in the game, number 10. He's going to be in that A gap. Kent State's going to have to try to move 340 pounds to pick up a couple yards here.
Another bad snap. And another negative play. Sherrod ends up falling on it inside the 10. A loss of 22 yards.
Well, last time it was trying to reach a guy. This time, that's Elijah Simmons, all 340 pounds, lined up right over the center. You got that guy in front of you. You're thinking about everything except for the snap. And once again, a huge unforced error, or slightly forced by the big man up front.
Kent State has lined up for a third down 4 times tonight. Combined, they have lost 47 yards on those 4.
Some would say that's moving in the wrong direction, Tom.
Yes, some would, and that would be accurate. They're going to end up in Fountain City if this keeps up.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
They'll have fantastic field position. Jermon McCoy to the 35-yard line. There is a flag on the play after a 32-yard punt and 9 on the return, and an injured Kent State player. There's Noah Early. Oh, pardon me. That is Mr. Young. Not listed on the roster for Kent State.
Number 13 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the first down.
It's just good offense. A lot of wins.
Yeah,
I think one South Carolina loss and a torn ACL away from realizing what T. Martin and Al Wilson and Philip Fulmer accomplished in '98, or at least being in position to do so.
Yeah, it's been pretty special what he's been able to accomplish here on Rocky Top. Obviously came in and you knew the tempo and the high-flying offense was a part of his scheme. I think what really surprises you when you flip on the tape is the physicality. And hasn't seen a ton of it tonight, but the tight end usage, 2 and 3 at times, 3 down the goal line, but 2 tight ends in the game. That 12 personnel was really big against NC State, and I think they're going to be able to use that in SEC play when they need to be physical up front. Great compliment to how dangerous they are through the air.
Deshaun Bishop is the running back, and he takes off on the right side, finds a huge hole, and he is in a dead sprint. Beautiful crossover, and he's going to take it to the house. 53-yard sprint for Deshaun Bishop. Second touchdown of the season for Bishop. An incredible run with the Carnes Beavers here in Knoxville. Point after is good. And off to an incredible start in his redshirt freshman season on Rocky Top.
Yeah, not often you see a team pull the backside tackle, Dane Davis, all the way across to get a piece of this defensive end, but it's really Campbell and Spraggins, this double team on the right side. Watch the push they get up front. Just unbelievable. Great little move by Deshaun Bishop in the backfield, the sidestep, and
no
then
sound
gone.
effects this time?
Well, you know, I think my sound effects don't always time up.
Cole can knock in a O-line sound effect here.
It's like trying to see what I can
Batman
get.
and Robin.
Dane Davis and then the double team right there. Listen, Spraggins and Campbell had one to the NC State bench last week on a pass play, a pass rep.
Yeah.
Took him 7 yards off the field into the bench. But the impressive part about what Dane Davis there did, Jordan, is he had to change his track.
Yeah.
A lot of times you pull and your mental focus is just flat down the line of scrimmage. Well, that defender comes screaming upfield. You have to change your track at the last minute. So just to get a piece, that's all you need.
All he needed,
and he did it right there.
A 30-point first quarter and an onside kick. And the ball is still loose. Tennessee pounces on it. Surprise, surprise, surprise. John Slaughter ends up with it for Tennessee. They never gave up on it, even though it looked like the Golden Flashes had it.
Well, a great scouting report here, and oftentimes this is just an automatic read. If a team is going to leave this big of a space right here on the front line, only 4 guys up front, 2 of them tucked really in on the hash. This is a great job and a great onside kick. Just a dribbler right there in the perfect spot.
I'll tell you guys, special teams coach Mike Eckler told me before the game that they had one, so they wanted it on the 3rd kickoff of the game. It would depend on the look. But listen, if you've repped it and you've talked to you guys about it in the meeting room, he's a big motivation guy. And why not go out there, put it on tape, show that you got it.
Figure to be plenty of kickoffs for Tennessee tonight. Already up 30-0 and a huge hole up the middle for Dylan Sampson. It's a first onside kick recovered by Tennessee since the 2020 game against Indiana in the Gator Bowl in a comeback win.
Cole, you're going to love watching this film, man. John Campbell just pulled around from right tackle spot, blew a big hole.
Iamaleava pressure, leaves the pocket again.
Campbell just tossed an edge defender there in pass pro too, Jordan, at the end of the play. I'll tell you, I talked to Glenn Elby, the offensive line coach, before the game. I said, Coach, do you track like bodies on the floor? He said, what do you mean? I said, I saw more NC State defenders on the ground because of Tennessee offensive linemen last week than I did in the film in a long time.
It's like
he just kind of gave me a chuckle.
It's like watching a John Wick movie.
I've actually never seen those. Heard they're great, though.
Yeah. Cinematography is amazing. Iamaleava, near side complete. Dante Thornton.
Well, that's a guy they'd love to really get going. Hurt last year, missed the last 4 games. He's really that Jalen Hyatt type of player. Tall, athletic, can run by you, stretch the field vertically.
Tennessee snapped the ball. It will be first down.
Well, the fastest offense in the country went a little too fast that time.
Yeah, they really lacked that guy that can really just take the top off a defense. And Thornton, the transfer from Oregon, didn't quite come to fruition last year. And no targets last week after having a monster week 1. He's a key piece to this receiving corps if he can get going.
Was injured against Florida last year. Iamaleava lets it go to the edge. Flag on the play. Nimrod is able to pick up a few in the area of holding.
Yeah, I think that might be on Jackson Lampley, left guard there.
Holding, number 75 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
You see Lampley here. It's a great inside move right here. It's a great inside move by the D tackle here. Lampley steps to his left first and just ends up hooking him.
Glenn Elby told me before the game, Jackson Lampley, one of these offensive linemen, they want to get going. They rotated Dane Davis, John Campbell at right tackle last week. The luxury to have Davis, by the way, to swing to both tackles and not lose a whole lot big time. But Lampley, somebody they want to get going to create even more depth.
Yeah, Davis played right tackle first couple of games, a product out of Sullivan East. Spin move after the hit for Dylan Sampson. Leading the conference in yards per game, and rushing touchdowns. Sampson's got 2 scores tonight. Iamaleava to the numbers. Chris Brazzell picks up the first down. But we've talked about this a lot under Josh Heupel, going back really to his Missouri days when it really picked up the tempo. But the ability to spread wide receivers outside the numbers on both sides puts a lot of stress on your defense. Straight ahead, Sampson churns to the 3.
That's really the part of this offense that just keeps defensive coordinators up at night, because you got to decide, do I leave my linebackers in the box to stop Dylan Sampson and these tight ends in the running game, or do I spread them out to try to suffocate some of the perimeter screens? You can't win.
Sampson bouncing off defenders, picks up maybe another yard. Rocco Nickel out of St. Joseph Prep in Philly in on the stop.
Holden Stays, the tight end transfer from Notre Dame, one of the trio of tight ends that are really playing at a high level, checks into the game here.
He's an Atlanta native. We're headed to South Bend. Clock winding down. Looks like Tennessee wants to get a snap off before the end of the quarter. And they'll run it straight ahead. Sampson's got his 3rd. How's that for a first quarter?
It's about as good as you can draw it up, really, on both sides of the football for Tennessee. There's really nothing this offense can't do with Dylan Sampson and Nico.
Tennessee averaging 11 yards per play, averaging 9 yards per carry.
We talked a lot about the value of the situation here, like almost double sniffer tight ends. Watch the insert from Kisselman, climbs up on the linebacker, helps Mays just a little bit. Previous play, defensive lineman slanted over in front of him. He just latched on and helped again. But those tight ends and the usage, multiple formations that we hadn't seen from Tennessee last week. You saw the sniffer tight end, you saw him in line, you saw him as an H, as a Y. You saw kind of a wing formation at one point, Jordan, with 2 tight ends kind of off the ball outside both tackles.
Cole, what does that tell you about what Josh Heupel wants to do with the offense this season?
I talked to Joey Halzle before the game, Tom, and he said, listen, we spent the entire offseason on being able to develop a different personality for this offense. We want to be more physical. We know styles win fights, right? They want to develop a different style to be able to win fights in a different way.
Knuckleball kickoff through the back of the end zone.
I think a large portion of how you do that, Tom, number one's the personnel. So some people might say, well, why didn't you do this 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You got to have the guys first and foremost. They have the offensive line now. They have 3 very capable tight ends with Ethan Davis, Holden Stays, and Miles Kitselman on this roster. All 3 put on a physical clinic last week against NC State. And you're going to be able to utilize those players. You line them up out wide. They can help you in the screen game, in tight like we've seen tonight, help you in the run game. And they hadn't caught a ton of passes yet, but by the way, these guys are pretty good pass catchers too.
Cole, I think we skipped over a really important detail there, the sniffer position, right? Those tight ends are going to get really their face about a yard behind the offensive lineman's rear.
Imagine.
I'll let your creativity take over as to why they call it the sniffer position.
Yeah, it's like when you take your dog to the dog park.
Yeah.
You're just saying hello. It is hard to imagine this offense being more explosive than it's been historically, but against an opponent that has not won a game in a calendar year. Tennessee just put up the most points in any quarter. Tennessee dominance through 1, 37-0.
Parents, we still need more donations. Oh, Bill? Hey, Bill, do you have a second?
Oh, man. Oh. Where's your mother now? Because I could try.
Want to get away? Now you can with Southwest fares as low as $49 one way.
What's up with your dad, Chloe?
Ever since he got AT&T's best deal on the new Samsung Galaxy, he's been up on his high horse.
Mentioned earlier, this is a program that has played in big stadiums before, but with so many newcomers, this is a new adventure for these Kent State players. McCray couldn't haul that one in. Kent State has yet to pick up a first down tonight. Now they face a 3rd and 12.
And a little pressure from James Pierce Jr. there on that throw. Probably forced a little bit of a low one from Devin Carchman.
A lot of numbers on those attendance records and a lot of checks being cashed by Kent State to go on the road and play these big ones. 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Pressure. Got rid of it complete, but short of the first down. Found J.J. Etheridge, freshman from Cincinnati. And another punting situation for Kent State.
Boy, sometimes a play like that can really give you some confidence, though. I know they're going to the sideline right now. You're punting the football, but you got blitz from that left side. Great job of Carchman of seeing that and replacing the blitz with a hot throw just to get your guy the ball in space. So, again, they're punting, but sometimes moments like that in a situation in a game like this can give you a little confidence to build on.
That was their longest gain of the game at 9 yards. On 4th and 3. They're averaging minus a yard and a half per snap. And a solid return by McCoy, which leads you to believe that they'd be better off punting on first down at this rate.
They'd be better off if Nico wasn't on the opposing team, because he's been lights out so far tonight. We talked about the footwork, the diligence. He's always on balance, always in rhythm. Feet are always where the ball is going. Look at this, right down the line. That's exactly where the ball goes. Balance and accuracy are tied together, and he does that as good as anybody. In the arm talent as well on full display. This was a rocket to Chris Brazel on the outside, a dime. He has been lights out in his 4th career start, his first night start here in Neyland Stadium.
Jordan, that touchdown to Brazel. Brazel was on the 35 when he let that ball go. Is that normal?
No. I had to get that ball up when my receiver was 20 yards downfield.
He's got 9 of 12 tonight.
He's got big arm talent.
The freshman Matthews was in motion. Yamaliava throws on the run and a hair behind Brew McCoy.
You know, when you think of Joe Milton, you think of like just a generational arm talent, right? But
yeah.
we were down on the field talking to Joey Halsley, and I was kind of just talking about Nico's fundamentals and what he's working on. And he goes, man, when he keeps that upper body tight and uses his lower body, that ball has as much RPMs as Milton's did.
And Milton about broke the machine at the combine.
Yeah.
Or at the Senior Bowl, pardon me.
So you add talent and physical gifts like that and tools to a guy that plays the position with great fundamentals. That's why you get what you're seeing tonight so far from Nico.
Couple of empty plays here now, 3rd and 10.
Kent State.
Kent State uses a timeout early in the 2nd quarter, and the Volunteers dominating 37-0.
Hustling. I'm never gonna stop, keep climbing to the top. Yeah, I'm crushing it, crushing it. I'm on my way now. It's my best self. Making myself proud, there ain't no doubt. Start where it starts.
Getting down in some of those situations. We saw him take a big hit on the goal line. You don't want to coach that out of him, right? Trying to make a play, but that one right there, cut your losses, take a slide, stay healthy.
2 tight ends in the game. Stays in Kitzelman. And Deshaun Bishop is the running back. 4th and short. Bishop. Boy, busted throw. And there he goes. 47-yard sprint for Bishop. Pair that Bishop's got 2 touchdowns tonight. Extra point is good.
Well, we talked about that snipper position. You're going to see Holden Stays tight end here in that snipper position, close to the line of scrimmage right here. And watch this block on Kanan Williams, linebacker that's going to free Deshaun Bishop for the long run. Tight ends on Rocky Top, stealing the spotlight from Nico tonight. Well, maybe.
T-Mobile savings, take one. Guys, focus. Let's not do fake falls. Just say, at T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits, and you can still save versus the other guys.
Happy to be here.
No fake stares, please.
Hi, I'm Patrick J. Adams.
Is that a shimmy? Just say, at T-Mobile, you can save on every plan, and you get great benefits with Magenta Status. Keep doing whatever that is. I'll do the line. Check out the T-Mobile Savings Calculator to see how much you can save. And right now, we'll even pay off your phone when you switch.
And whether it's NCIS or the Army, they all come to research what it looks like when the body decomposes at various stages of burial or non-burial.
I think I would have liked that. I watched a lot of Forensic Files before bed. JoJo would have loved it. I can say, would you donate your body? I think they'd really love to study just everything that's going on here, you know?
Yeah, I think the insects would love it. Yeah. This is an R1 Carnegie Research Facility, the University of Tennessee. So they do a lot of incredible research across campus, but that is the first of its kind. And Dr. Stedman was telling me that she was in D.C. a few years ago and was talking with a lobbyist, and she goes, you know, the University of Tennessee is really known for 2 things: the football program and the body farm. And a lot of people are aware of the body farm, but they don't quite know where it is. It's only a mile away.
That's wild.
Like, it is right here across the river. Would you, what would the maggots do with your hair? Is there enough product in that to keep it around for a while?
I'll tell you what, with the product that's in it right now, it might be the last thing to go.
It would definitely stick around.
Tom, you had a great breakdown for us at lunch yesterday with the maggots and how they're studying those.
Well, yeah, I thought lunchtime was a perfect time to discuss it. Beautiful hands on the catch for Kent State and Luke Floria. And that'll be the first down of the game for Kent State. Yet part of their research is currently the study of different drugs and different body types. You know, law enforcement officials used to think that the presence of maggots or bugs on the corpse was consistent with time of death no matter what. But if you're diabetic, or if you have, I don't know, chemotherapy or radiation before you die, then it certainly impacts how quickly those bugs come to the corpse.
You know what's wild?
All of it?
I thought this was going to be a second half conversation.
I did too.
Here we are, 44-0 in the second quarter. We're diving deep.
So, Tom, what do you want to talk about Saturday night? Well, the line's nearly 50. How about the body farm? Kai Thomas with the carry. By the way, Dr. Stedman wanted me to share that the main part of it is that none of that research is possible without the donors who want to be a part and want to give. And Jordan, you can go online, find the link, and you can sign up right now.
You trying to tell
me?
You
don't have to go anywhere right now. I want you to stick around for a long time.
You know something I don't know?
A room on the edge for Kai Thomas, who picks up a couple. So special thanks to Dr. Stedman, her amazing team of women who run the facility and run the program right now. It was founded by Bill Bass in the early 80s. 3rd and 7. Kent State has not converted a 3rd down tonight. Cardsman gets touched, doesn't go down, and fires over the middle, and it's nearly picked. Andre Turrentine got his fingertips on it.
Boy, he really hasn't showed up in the stat column much this year, but James Pierce Jr. is making his presence felt. Watch the speed of this rush right here. Almost gets a hand on Garchman, forcing him to step up, run into his offensive lineman, and forces the errant throw. So I think a lot of people kind of forgetting about how good James Pierce Jr. is just because he doesn't have the stats right now, but he is affecting and impacting the game, even without it showing up in the stat column.
Josh Smith to punt it away. I commend you, Jordan, for not making a quip about the Body Farm and Kent State's performance tonight. Chance for a return. Nearly to midfield. That's Cameron Seldon, 47-yard punt, 20 on the return. Even with the short field time, and again, Tennessee has found a way to gobble up the yardage so far, and they're putting some numbers in the record book already. The highest scoring quarter in Tennessee history was the first. They're averaging better 11 yards per play. They already have 339 yards of offense, and the school record for points scored is actually lower than I expected. It's 7.
Yeah. That's well within reach because of how they're running the football too, right? I mean, they're going to start handing it off quite a bit to let this time tick away, but the way the offensive line, these tight ends are playing, those holes are wide enough that 70 could come into play here quickly.
Flag on the play. All right, so it's 44-0. We're early in the second quarter. How long do you leave Iamaleava out there?
I honestly...
Holding, number 77 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
That's Larry Johnson. Working at left tackle. Actually a great pass rush by Cameron Olds from Kent State. But I wasn't sure if Nico was going to come out for this drive, honestly. You know, we saw him take a hit on a run. I believe it was last drive right there. A little pressure around him. I might let him air out one or two more and then pat him on the butt, say, hey, good day. Let's get ready for Oklahoma and see a little bit of Gaston Moore.
Yeah. Now 1st and 20. Iamaleava picks up a couple on the scramble.
But then again, right, we're talking about a guy that's in his 4th start, right? I mean, so much hype, so much excitement around Nico as a quarterback and what he's able to do with his legs and his arm. But these are still valuable reps for a guy that just hasn't played a ton of meaningful football outside the bowl game and last week at NC State.
Straight ahead, here's that run game again. Dylan Sampson past midfield. You referenced the bowl game against Iowa, the first freshman since Peyton to win a bowl in Tennessee history. And Josh Heupel, offensive coordinator Joey Halsey, both told us that if we get to a 2nd or 3rd string quarterback, they're going to keep running the system. They need reps. Everybody does. Iamaleava goes down after picking up another first down with his legs. And an injured player for Kent State. Keenan Landry being tended to by the athletic training staff. We turn to Knoxville in a moment.
Here we go, Billy. Swing hard, buddy.
At Auto Owners Insurance, we know you. We know every Saturday your son Billy plays Little League. We sponsor his team. And we know you love parking way too close to the field. That's why we tailor a unique policy for you and your car. Because sometimes something from out of left field can literally come from out of left field. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you. Hey, Billy.
Since 1914. In 1913, Tennessee scored 50 against Carson Newman and then 95 against Athens before blowing out Murrayville, too. Incomplete. So we said the record was 70 points. That's just in the history of Neyland Stadium. You go back to the early 1900s, there's some Tennessee records that approach triple digits in scoring. Second and 10. Run game has been massive for Tennessee tonight. Cole, it's really hard, I think, in such a lopsided game sometimes to understand what we're watching and how this will play out for Tennessee, say, next week against Oklahoma. We'll get to that in a moment on this third down, 3rd and 3. Well, maybe we'll get to the end zone. Another touchdown for Dylan Sampson. This one from 14 yards out. His 4th touchdown of the game. Bishop's got 2 rushing touchdowns. And the Volunteers have hung a 50-burger in the first half, and we're not even midway through the second quarter.
Then
One after is good. 51.
Boy, we've said his name a couple times already tonight. Holden Staes tied in another great block here. Down block, but watch the patience here by Dylan Sampson. You're going to have a guy rushing off the edge. Watch him press this block before exploding. Does a great job of being patient, staying right off the butt of the tight end there. Doesn't panic, doesn't try to chase grass or make the guy miss. He presses the block, and that opens it up for him. Just got a great natural feel for running this zone running scheme and making his blockers right.
That is a gift. And I saw Cooper Mays in the facility yesterday, and I said, how does it feel to have a back that makes you right as much as Dylan Sampson does? And he kind of chuckled and sat back and said, man, I haven't thought about it like that. And he said, but let me tell you, that guy makes me right expletive a lot. He said, because we sure are wrong plenty of times. He said, but with him, rarely can the entire group be wrong. But Jordan's right. He presses blocks and presses the line of scrimmage as well as anybody I've seen in college football.
No return for Kent State. 51 for Tennessee. The last time they had something like this, 52 in the first half against UT Martin in 2022. That was the most in any half since 1937 for this Tennessee football program. Kent State's lone win last year came against FCS Central Connecticut State, at the time the worst FCS team in the country. That was 52 weeks ago come Monday. Devin Cardsman, a junior from Camden, New Jersey, is the Kent State quarterback. 5 of 9 through the air. Oh my goodness, what a lick. That brings a flag. Jacoby Thomas just laid out Christian McRae. The question will be whether this was entirely legal, but he exploded onto McRae. You got targeting coming?
Personal foul. Targeting. Number 9 on the defense.
Well, you love the aggressiveness by Thomas. The closing speed. And anytime we're looking at targeting, remember there's 2 types. You got to first find out if you got a defenseless receiver here. And the second thing, if he's not, which I think he's a runner there, it's got to be crown of the helmet, which was reclassified as the 6-inch radius right on the top of the helmet. You can see clearly Thomas lowers that head, which is an indicator, and he's making forcible contact with the crown of his helmet. You can see the first brush is right in the face mask of the wide receiver. This definitely will stand up.
Video review, targeting by number 9 is confirmed. 15-yard penalty. Number 9 is disqualified. And will render the game.
Well, the only positive if you're a Tennessee fan is that there's still 7:42 to go in the first half. He won't play the rest of this game, but it won't impact him next week against Oklahoma.
And again, that's one, if you're a Tennessee fan, that I don't think you can be mad at that, because that's to protect Thomas.
100%.
When you lower your head like that, I mean, the neck injuries, the high risk of seriously hurting yourself is so prevalent. That one's got to be called to protect the players from themselves.
Kent State has not crossed midfield yet tonight. Cardsman keeps it and past the 50. And he took a lick. Pardon me, that's J.D. Sherrod getting some run at QB tonight.
Didn't anticipate seeing Sherrod as much as we are. Right? I mean,
thought if anything we'd see Ulatowski.
Yeah, Ulatowski's kind of guy they brought in last week to be that runner, a little more athletic type than Cardsman. But Sherrod has been in there and haven't seen Ulatowski. Now you're rubbing off on me.
Oh, gosh. You can see what led Kai Thomas to be the second best rusher in Kansas prep history from a yardage standpoint. He put up 7,700 yards and 95 touchdowns in his career at Wichita High School, but still suffering from that ankle injury and got a little hitch in his giddy up as he heads to the Kent State sideline.
Yeah, head coach Kenny Burns said he wasn't quite 100% last week, toughed it out. Closer to 100% this week, but still a little bummed with that ankle.
Kenny Burns, as we mentioned earlier, was his running back coach at Minnesota when he was a leading rusher for the Golden Gophers in 2021. Batted away at the line of scrimmage, incomplete.
It's going to be Jeremiah Thielander here, coming right through, getting in the face of the quarterback. It's a really good job of when you know you're not going to get to the quarterback, trace his hand, trace that throwing arm, get your hand up, try to affect the football, and did just that.
On 2nd and 10 to the edge. Luke Floria quickly brought down for no gain. Another 3rd and long. Kent State 0 for 6 on 3rd down tonight.
And Tennessee bringing James Pierce Jr. back in the game. Their star pass rusher already a couple times. Not getting sacks or hits on the quarterback, but in and around him, affecting the ball and affecting the accuracy of these throws on 3rd down.
And a flag down. Movement.
Start 73. Still 30.
First time Kent State has been flagged tonight.
I might try to jump early, too, if I see James Pierce Jr. and a nickel back flexing the blitz coming off the edge. Just trying to get a little head start on the speed that Tennessee has on the outside.
Pressure, and he gets rid of it, but another flag.
Holding, number 73 on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, Obadigwu tried to get a head start on the last play, was flagged, and on this one, just doing everything he can to try to keep James Pierce Jr. from getting to the quarterback. Watch the speed rush once again. Just so quick around the edge. Great rip through with his left hand, and that would have been a sack for sure.
Got to trust your set, though, Jordan. Opens his hips way too early. That's one kick set, and then open the hips to the sideline, which gives the rusher a direct pass to the quarterback. Specifically against a guy like James Pierce, you have to create depth first.
On 4th and 15 from the 45, Kent State will punt it away. And this one getting in the end zone. Developing situation in Austin. Quinn Ewers out with a strained abdomen. It's Arch Manning now. For more on that, to the studio, here's Dari.
Tom, there's a lot more on Arch Manning. My goodness, you talk about an entry, folks. How about 3 touchdown passes, 171 yards passing. This one to the freshman Ryan Wingo for 75. Also a 67-yard touchdown run. All Arch in Austin right now.
Wow. Plenty of Manning jerseys around Knoxville.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55 on the receiving team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down, Tennessee.
And now there'll be a bunch of Manning jerseys in a different shade of orange down in Austin. Tennessee has changed quarterbacks. Nico Iamaleava is out after a 173-yard night. And so Gaston Moore, 5th-year senior from Hilton Head, who started his career at UCF, saw action against Chattanooga to open the season. 7 of 12 for 69 yards. Nice.
Just going to let that one breathe, but Gaston's a guy that knows this offense inside and out. Came from the system at UCF under Heupel.
Nice that they have another former UCF quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, on the sideline to walk him through in-game changes. What a resource for these Tennessee quarterbacks. That's second down. Deshaun Bishop.
Yeah, having a guy like Mackenzie Milton, now that you can have the iPads on the sideline, watch the plays from the previous drive, a guy that has such a recency of running this system from that perspective. It's a great way to communicate and solve problems on the sidelines between drives. It's a great resource that Josh Heupel has recruited here to Knoxville.
Recruiting never ends. It applies to the staff too. Moore unloads in traffic. Caught over the shoulder by Dante Thornton. They said they're going to run the system, and that's exactly what they're doing. It turns into a 53-yard game.
I love what Dante Thornton does here. Watch how late his eyes are to turn his head. Now, I mean, it does such a good job of getting speed, getting to the spot, not turning your head too quickly and slowing yourself down, and that's why that ball was right on the money.
By the way, the most points in a game in Tennessee history is 104. They've crossed the century mark 4 times in their history, back World War I era and earlier, and they might be on pace to do that. In fact, they are on pace to get to the century mark. Bishop with the run.
A lot to love about Deshaun Bishop tonight, the former walk-on. Really coming into his own. Ran really well against NC State last week as well.
He's running all over Kent State like they're Lenore City. Touchdown, Tennessee. The tight end, Miles Kitselman. If you just flipped it over, yeah, we're still in the first half, and Tennessee's put 57 on the board. Meanwhile, in Lexington, Georgia and Kentucky in a rock fight. It is 3-3. The Bulldogs struggling on the road in Lexington.
How many times tonight have we seen the tight ends in the backfield coming through the line of scrimmage and blocking these linebackers? This time just slips right through, and watch both these linebackers attack Kitselman, waiting for the block, and he just goes right between them.
Miles Kitselman is an amazing story. He was trying to find his fit for college football, and it looks like he has found his perfect fit in this offense.
He had a Division II football offer to be a defensive end, and he had committed verbally. He was ready to go, and finally his dad, Jared, and Kurt, his uncle, kind of took him to the side and said, listen, your future's at tight end. That's what you can be. Don't worry about this defense. He said, Dad, I want to hit people. He said, yeah, I understand, but you're athletic enough, you're big enough, you're tall enough, you can make this happen. He was committed to Emporia State, Goes junior college instead. Starts, get hurt in the 4th game of the season. Finally gets into a couple different games, figures it out, becomes a pretty good tight end in JUCO. While Nick Saban and his staff were committing Malik Benson, who's now at Florida State after going to Alabama, they saw Miles Kitselman and said, hey, man, we want to offer you. We want you to come down here. But the coolest part, Tom, might be the way that it started after he got to Hutch Junior College. Cody Cook, his receivers coach, after he ran his first route in junior college, told him, get off the field, said, you're done. No more. I don't even want to see it again. Thought that he would kind of clap back at him. Instead, Miles Kitselman looked at Coach Cook and said, coach me then. Teach me. Tell me what to do. Coach Cook said, be at my house at 6:30 in the morning. His house was right across the street from the facility, actually went to the house, worked on routes every morning at 6:30 for the rest of that season. He developed into what would be the tight end that you see now after going through Alabama. They're going to be a real weapon for this Tennessee team this season.
He is from tiny Linden, Kansas, a population of just over 1,000, depending on who's on vacation that week. And that ability to realize his college football dream after numerous stops is really paying off for him. Kai Thomas with the run for Kent State. And it's worked in large part, Jordan, based on what Cole told us earlier this game, that this offensive staff said, we can tweak this offense. It's been incredibly efficient. It's been explosive. But we've got to be better in some areas. We've got the tight ends to do it. You only have 2 tight ends. You're going to gas them all out running as many plays as we do. They've got depth there, and it's an opportunity.
I think that's a great point. You have 2 great ones in this tempo. It doesn't matter, right? You can't use them as frequently as you want to when you have 3. Now you can use 2 at a time. Now those guys don't get tired. You can interchange them out as much as you want. So this is going to be a real weapon for Tennessee when they get in the games against teams with really good defensive fronts that are physical. They can match that physicality when they want, and they can spread back out when they want as well.
Kent State will be looking at a 3rd and 4 when we return. You know it as the 2-minute warning. It is a timeout in college football. Tennessee pitching a shutout and dominating. Time for the Grand.
Just hustling. I'm never gonna stop, keep climbing to the top. Yeah, I'm crushing it, crushing it. I'm on my way now. It's my best self. Making myself proud, there ain't no doubt. Start with Sprouts.
Finding your healthy has never been easier.
1:54 left in the half.
Great job there by true freshman Idris for Root coming down there in the 2nd level. Stopping Sherrod just short of that 1st down.
I think in the Chattanooga game, about 95, 96 Tennessee players saw the field. Depending on who's healthy, we may eclipse that number tonight.
You may see a few GAs put some pads on and hop in there.
Cameron Sheldon back to return for Tennessee. From the 18-yard line. Huge hole. Beautiful bend to the near side. Sheldon's got the sideline, and he steps out of bounds past midfield. 33-yard return. This is a Tennessee schedule that is loaded with ranked opponents. They already slaughtered NC State. They go to Norman, a team ranked 15th in the country right now next week. Still a top 5 opponents, Bama and Georgia, working late.
We had Oklahoma last week, and my biggest takeaway was the issues they have at offensive line. Right, replaced all 5 of those guys up front from last year. Last week, 2 new guys starting in the lineup. They've been banged up. This defensive front for Tennessee is going to cause some issues for Oklahoma.
Jackson Arnold threw a touchdown and a pick. He also ran for 2 touchdowns. OU knocked off Tulane, 34-19. Here's the ground game from Gasson Moore. And Gasson Moore picks up a 1st down.
They're still going tempo here with a 1.5 minutes left.
Moore swings it to the perimeter. And Khalifa Keith. You know, if you're Keith or other guys a little bit further down in the depth chart, what an opportunity tonight. I mean, they may end up shortening the second half, shortening the quarter, especially the fourth. We'll wait and see once we get there. But, man, you got an entire half to show this coaching staff what you can do under the lights. Just shy of the first down. That will leave third and less than one.
And great opportunities for guys like Mike Matthews, the highly touted true freshman receiver who was banged up in camp. First look for this Tennessee staff, him out there under the lights. And just on time he goes out and we bring in some tight ends.
Yeah, Kitzelman stays. Beautiful running right through a couple of would-be tacklers to pick up the first down by Khalifa Keith at a career high 43 in the opener against Chattanooga. Let's see, not happy with 58. They want to get past the 60 mark here before the half comes to an end. Most points scored by a team in SEC history since the formation of the conference is 93. That was done by LSU in 1936.
Timeout.
Can't take them with you, so
they're second.
might as well
30-second
talk
timeout.
about what you want to do here with the last 24 seconds.
Coming up at halftime, you can watch a live performance of the Pride of the Southland marching band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. They've been playing Rocky Top nonstop tonight. Tennessee is averaging 9.4 yards per run.
And they've had everything they've wanted on the ground. Offensive line, tight ends, all done a great job. And Deshaun Bishop, Dylan Sampson, and Keith here to close the second half. Done a great job making guys miss and finishing runs. Not much hasn't worked for Tennessee tonight.
Moore fires in zone. Caught. Touchdown Tennessee. It's the freshman Mike Matthews and his first career score. There is an injured player for Kent State in the end zone, but that capped a 6-play 48-yard drive led by Gaston Moore in his first passing touchdown of the season. Injured player for Kent State is Tevin Tucker, the sophomore from just over the mountains in Kannapolis, North Carolina.
And Mike Matthews getting high fives and handshakes from everybody on the sidelines. The true freshman catching his first touchdown pass here under the lights in Neyland Stadium. Pretty special.
And so after the score, point after waiting, will make it a 65-point lead. Well, they said the backups are going to keep running the offense, and that's what Gaston Moore is doing.
What a great catch there. In traffic.
.65 first half.
Really good job on the touchdown throw by Moore of pumping the safety, holding him just for a second. You see him glance back to the middle, hold that safety just a tick, and that's all he needed. A foot of separation, and Mike Matthews did the rest.
Score is 65-0. We're not quite to halftime here in Knoxville. What do you want to do in the second half?
I have no idea. Can we go down on the field?
Is that an option, Producer Bill?
It might be.
Yeah, you go down the field. I'll be up here.
No. I'm not letting you have an adult bevy over there without me.
I did not think this would be a competitive matchup, but I also didn't think we'd get to this territory in the first half.
No, and that's the tough part about, I guess not tough part, but Tennessee is so good at running the football. So it's not like they're trying to just run it up. I know we just saw a touchdown pass from Moore down at the end, but they're running the football, handing it off, and the offensive line and running backs are just doing the rest. And it has been impressive, the ground game from Tennessee tonight.
Maybe in the second half, Cole can break down the sniffer position. That one hits the pylon.
That'd be fun.
It's a touchback. Cole, I kind of started this earlier, but what can we learn from this tonight for Tennessee, especially as it pertains to upcoming opponents, both in the league and the ranked ones, starting with Oklahoma and Norman?
I'll tell you this. I'll take this from this performance, Tom. Maturity of a football team. It's easy in a game like this not to show up. It's easy in a game like this to be flat, to not have intensity, to not play hard, to kind of take a few plays off. I haven't seen the Vols do that tonight. That's a sign of a mature football team. That's one. Two, physicality. I mean, you've handled your business. You came in here and pushed this football team around the way that this coaching staff thought you could.
Well, I think the other part of it is that the buzz in this area and the buzz around this team has the fans in this football program amped up based on what's possible and the promise of what both the proclivity of this offense, easy for me to say, and this lockdown defense. They're pitching another shutout. It's the third straight game of 50 points plus, and we're not yet to the third quarter. Josh Heupel must be happy. Let's see if Cole can get him to smile.
Coach Heupel, you told us when we met with you yesterday, the tight ends, running back positions, kind of upping the ante on the physicality of this football team is a major emphasis in the offseason. Tonight, a perfect example of that?
Yeah, I thought we've been really good at the line of scrimmage. Tight ends have done a really good job. Thought our backs have run really.
Not just in this game, but that we've seen this season is going to prime them for a deep run, I think, in this year's playoff.
Well, I think the word that we used when we came on air, Cole talked about the depth is a key issue for this team.
Yeah.
Let's get you down the field. Cole, time for Read and React.
We talked about depth up front, tight end, offensive line, running back. The physicality is something that this football team tried to undergo a little bit of a metamorphosis in the offseason. We'll see Cooper Mays first, going to pull out. Watch Dane Davis will react, kick set, and then go back down inside. And Dylan Sampson, we mentioned, he rides his blocks. He presses the line of scrimmage. Just an amazing job. And these tight ends that have come in have really done an excellent job. Going to insert Kitzelman right there, gets in with Cooper Mays for a little bit of a double team, one-on-one on the opposite side. And here he is pressing those blocks. Watch him just ride the rear end of his tight end here, and Dylan Sampson can get north and south, adds physicality. He's an explosive play waiting to happen. That's the change this team wanted to make in the offseason.
How about this change? Jake Merklinger starts the second half, and he takes off on a 24-yard run. And Merklinger is going to see plenty of reps here in the second half.
Yeah, and this staff loves Merklinger. Incredibly talented kid, probably the heir apparent after Nico. So great opportunity for him to get some reps today. Just at this level, in front of this crowd, or what's left of it.
I think most of them are headed to Cool Beans, perhaps.
Yeah.
Litton's is already closed. Save the red velvet cake for later.
The couch is comfy for the second half.
Oh, Merklinger with a Houdini move, and he slings it outside, incomplete. Trying to find Brazel. Jake Merklinger is from Savannah, Georgia, out of Calvary Day School. He put up incredible numbers in high school, but it wasn't the football playing that impressed Josh Heupel and his coaching staff. When Joey Halsley was recruiting Merklinger, he and Heupel went down to watch Jake play in a basketball game, and they saw the competition and the fearlessness and the fire with which he played. And Joey was telling us as soon as they walked out of the gym that night, Heupel said, "That's our guy."
I think sometimes that's an underrated part of recruiting. Not just at the quarterback position, but getting guys that are competitors no matter the sport, getting guys that are winners. I don't care if it's basketball or track, guys that are used to winning have that mindset. It's an underrated part, especially at the quarterback position, of evaluating recruits.
Jim Umarov, the redshirt freshman from Atlanta, is the injured Tennessee Volunteer. They're looking at his right knee. Well, good start for Merklinger after the first down run, and then able to avoid the pressure and get out of harm's way. And Merklinger has, like everybody, an opportunity in a 65-0 game to get under the lights and show what you can do. I had a chance to meet Jake and his dad Jeremy last summer, part of the On3 program that was put on by the fellas in Nashville, and what a fantastic family, and really enjoyed spending time with those guys. And you know, just a grounded individual that has his head on straight. There was a funny clip that was shared on Tennessee's social media as Umarov gets helped off. You know, his given name is Jacob, and Nico at practice asked him, hold on a second, how did we get Jake out of Jacob? And was a little confused by the nickname shortening.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you get Jim out of James or Bob out of Will, right?
Bob out of Will.
No.
Yeah.
William?
Yeah.
People go by Bob that are named William.
I really thought you were going to go Robert.
Sure.
Yeah. Either way.
Okay, Tommy.
Kind of weird that you went from James to George. Umarov being helped off. That is a long, slow walk with the Tennessee athletic training staff. We've talked at length with offensive coordinators each and every week this season about how they're using the helmet communication for their quarterbacks, and Joey Halsley made sure to point out that it's both he and Heupel that have the opportunity to talk to the quarterbacks. In many ways, it's about keeping it simple, and the run game has been simple and effective and dangerous, and Peyton Lewis takes it for a first down.
Talented true freshman. That one not blocked up perfectly. A free runner right towards Lewis, makes him miss in a big game.
You come in here with a first name Peyton, you better produce. Merklinger on the run. And that offensive line allowing a couple of guys to get through here in the second half.
Remember the touchdown that Miles Kitzelman had where he split the two linebackers earlier in the game? Well, they tried to run that exact same thing once again. Charlie Browder.
Those backers weren't having it. They almost tackled him.
They sandwiched him. Said no way.
600 yards of offense for Tennessee. I'll add to that with the Lewis run up the middle. Lewis is from Salem, Virginia, out of Salem High School. It's outside of Roanoke. Was really banged up early in his high school career. Went through multiple surgeries his sophomore season. Merklinger with a check. The play clock winding down.
Timeout. Tennessee.
Well, Josh Heupel told Cole at the half that there were some things they needed to tighten up, and this looks like one of them. Making sure the operations are on point here in a blowout. 7th ranked Tennessee has eliminated Kent State from playoff contention tonight.
T-Mobile savings, take one.
Guys, focus. Let's not do fake falls. Just say at T-Mobile you get tons of benefits and you can still save versus the other guys.
Happy to be here.
No fake stares, please.
Hi, I'm Patrick J. Adams.
Is that a shimmy? Just say at T-Mobile you can save on every plan and you get great benefits with Magenta Status. Keep doing whatever that is. I'll do the line. Check out the T-Mobile Savings Calculator to see how much you can save. And right now, we'll even...
Maybe to Merklinger's right, but not much there. That's what they call a coverage sack. Really good job by Kent State down there. Backed up, coming up with a stop. Stop the presses.
36-yard attempt for Max Gilbert, and the Vols will indeed
Don't call it a comeback.
Held him to 3. SEC was founded in 1933 right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the most points scored by an SEC team in conference history since 33 was 93 by LSU in 1936.
I just can't get over the total yards.
Yeah. But Tennessee actually went backwards, so they're under 600 right now, 599 and
to 23.
I'm guessing, as Kent State has 23 yards, I'm guessing Tennessee probably has 12 to 15 plays of 23 yards or more alone.
Yes.
Tonight.
And they're averaging over 10 yards a play. That means a first down, excuse me, anytime they do anything.
Had 15 plays of 15 yards or more. As I mentioned, offensively they have hit on all cylinders, and the defense pitching another shutout tonight.
Fair catch signal was given on the kick, therefore the ball is
14
dead.
consecutive quarters without allowing a touchdown by the defense. It's Tennessee's longest streak since 1940. Rate, we might have to re-air the Body Farm segment.
Well, you know, one thing we haven't really given due appreciation to tonight,
the guy running the scoreboard.
No, well, that guy too, but just the sheer glorious locks of Devin Cardsman. The lettuce game is strong.
Yeah, he's got mad flow.
I mean, it is long, shiny. I was looking at it down there on the pregame.
Yeah, that's no Pert Plus. So that guy uses good shampoo.
I mean, look at my man here. Not only does his hair look glorious, he can mean mug with the best of them. I was down there actually, and I just said, "Hey, Dev, what kind of conditioner are you using?" I'm just, I'm always trying to improve my game as well. He said, "That's a trade secret, bro." I said, respect.
High floor, high ceiling.
I'm not saying that good hair always means you're a great quarterback. There's a high correlation. You see, the list we just showed.
I've seen your hair. I saw your hair when you were playing.
Yeah.
You really stepped up your game once you left Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I did. It was bad at Vandy, which that checks out.
By the way, another third down for Kent State. They have yet to convert one tonight, 0 for 8. This is a 3rd and 6. If I remember correctly, you actually attended a Tennessee football game as a fan while wearing your own jersey.
False.
That's the story I'm telling on television, so it must be true.
I had friends wearing my jersey.
Over the middle and caught.
And you know Volwalk down there outside the stadium?
That's right.
So they cleared out, obviously, clear the street.
Because they're waiting for the Tennessee football team to walk through in front of the throngs of faith.
Us idiots, 3 of my buddies were in my jersey carrying a 24-pack of beer and drinking beer. We're just walking down the middle of the street. And a cop comes up and goes, hey guys, for one, everyone's clearing the street. For 2, you can't have an open can of beer walking down the street.
Well, what was the result of that game? Do you remember? I assume that was a Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It wasn't great.
Yeah, probably not. Historically, they haven't been.
No.
It's the outside of the Butch era.
I will say, though,
any of those friends that I know and I've met?
Yeah. Ryan Lippman was a #1 tennis player for Vandy. Jared Morse was a D tackle for us. Kerry Spear, a kicker as well.
Yeah. Idiots all.
Yeah, idiots all. You want to know a little fun factoid about me?
Please, just unload.
So I have also thrown a touchdown here at Neyland Stadium.
To whom?
To a Tennessee player. Actually, you know what? I think they might have called it back. I think they said his knee was down. It was overtime. We lost the game, so it didn't matter if he got in the end zone or not.
Wow, that was overtime.
Yeah.
Moral victory?
Not really. Not when you throw 3 picks.
Well, you guys could have turned to the run game, you know, because that could have bailed you out. And next week, Tennessee will head to Norman with Josh Heupel start and led them to a national championship. He was recruited to the program when Mike Leach was the offensive coordinator. Leach was there for 1 year before taking the air raid elsewhere. The guy who recruited you, Mark Mangino, came in, and he was there with Chuck Long and Jonathan Hayes. Everybody on this staff, the Bob Stoops staff, part of the Snyder coaching tree, generally speaking, all that came from Kansas State, and prior to that, Hayden Fry. And another horrible snap, and he'll fall on it. So in the Big 12 championship game in 2000, Oklahoma faced a 4th and inches. The question was, what do we run? And Mark Mangino said, option. 4th and inches in a tie game in the 4th quarter. Heupel ran the option to perfection, and we asked him about it yesterday, and I said, I wasn't really expecting that. He said, no. We ran a lot of speed option. This was, you know, an early version of the air raid offense that Mike Leach had introduced to Oklahoma. Big 12 championship win in Kansas City at Arrowhead, and OU would go on to win a national title.
You know what I love about that? That little clip right there? Josh Heupel, he don't need a chin strap. Option coming up. Yeah, I don't need to buckle this thing. Takes a big hit, too.
I thought you were going to say the DN that would have got a 15-yard penalty and been ejected and probably never allowed to play football again based on the way he hit the quarterback.
That, too. Different era.
It is such a big game next week, 7:30 on ABC, that game day will be in Norman for that showdown. It must create a lot of angst for Josh Heupel because, yes, he was the favorite son that led them to a national title. And then he was the offensive coordinator. And then he got fired. And that changes your perspective on a lot of who you can trust, who your friends are, what that place means to you, and it changes overnight. And so I would imagine that Josh Heupel wants to win that game next week more than any other game he's wanted to win. Changes overnight. And so I would imagine that Josh Heupel wants to win that game next week more than any other game he's wanted to win in perhaps not just his coaching life, but his playing life. And he's going to be under the microscope and the spotlight all week. He's not a dramatic guy. He's going to temper all of that in every discussion that he has. But you know that there's turmoil inside of him to a certain extent going back to Norman.
Yeah, we know that. And his team, I believe, knows that as well. I think they'll know how personal that is and how much it means to their coach. And that'll be some extra motivation for them as well. But if Josh Heupel can get anything near what we're seeing tonight, he'll run that score up if he's got any opportunity to do so. Now, pretty good defense he's going to be facing with Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman on the other side there. So they'll have their hands full. But that matchup at Norman next week for Tennessee,
they'll score, and he'll say another one. Thank you.
Yes.
Again and again.
You might wonder, John Legend, how do you keep your voice sounding so legendary? Honey, and how do I keep my...
Up, and they put a dozen of us through the paces of trying to rank 25 teams and then piece together a college football playoff bracket. And a couple of takeaways that I left there with: if you can't get a top 4 seed, and there's a huge gaping hole and another first down run, which will go to conference champions, by the way. The top 4 ranked conference champions get those first round byes. The 5th seed is in a really good spot. So that's a point of demarcation where if you can't get 4, you're in a battle with, say, 5 through 8, not only to be able to host in the first round, but also get that 5 seed. Why is that important? Well, because you have an obvious advantage in a 12 seed in your first game. And it is very likely that that 4 seed isn't the 4th ranked team in the country. It's just the 4th highest conference champion. And so 5 can really get an advantage. So it's not going to be 1 through 12 in the rankings.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that the fans are, there's probably going to be some contention when that is seen for the first time.
No doubt. I mean, I think we thought this would solve all the arguments, and and the bad taste in your mouth for rankings and where they go. There's going to be a lot, I think, that's going to open the eyes of some of the fans, like you mentioned, about how it's ranked, who goes where because of conference champions. You could have a team that's ranked 14th or 15th in the country that wins their conference and is now a 4th team in the country, in the playoffs with a bye.
And so that creates a huge advantage and or disadvantage depending on what side of the bracket you fall on. We got 6 out of the top 7 teams in the SEC pardon me, 6 out of the top 7 in the AP poll are all from the SEC. Here's what's remaining. And Georgia's on the ropes tonight against Kentucky. A loss certainly does not eliminate them because they could get an automatic berth with winning the SEC. But at the same time, that schedule strength at the end of the year, if those rankings stay the same, will give them a huge advantage. You could say the same for Bama. You could say the same for Tennessee, which has already beaten a ranked NC State team. When it comes to comparing resumes, another massive gaping hole up front for Tennessee, and Peyton Lewis with a 35-yard sprint.
Boy, Peyton Lewis really showing some juice, man.
By the way, speaking of the playoff, should Tennessee have a chance to host, could you imagine the home field advantage that they would have? I peppered Rich Clark with a bunch of these questions. What I learned was, in the Super Bowl, it's kind of split down the middle. There's a bunch of corporate seats. It's a, less desirable.
They open up a bunch of tickets for both sides, visitors and home.
You don't have to provide any more tickets to the visiting team if you host in the playoff than you do for the regular season. So that means the visitors here at Neyland, I think, get about 3,500 tickets. That's all that they're required to give away. Make a few more available for players, families. That's it. And you're allowed to do all of the same in-game light show, band playing after every score. It will be anything but antiseptic, and what a huge home field advantage for whoever's playing on the 20th and 21st of December.
Yeah, I mean, imagine here at Neyland hosting a Penn State or something for a first-round playoff, and they get their couple thousand tickets, and it is rocking here. I mean, that's what I'm most excited for in the playoff, is seeing those home playoff games. That maybe up north where it's cold. It could be snowing for a first-round game as well. I just think it creates a whole new dynamic to the end of our season.
2nd and 3. It certainly will keep a lot more teams involved in the race. Merklinger keeps it and is stopped just short.
And you know what? I think the biggest gripe for a lot of when this was first released is, regular season doesn't matter anymore. No. Wait till November, because there's going to be, in the SEC, there's going to be maybe 7, 8 teams with a chance at the playoffs. That means on a weekend, you're going to have 3, 4, 5 games that all have significant playoff ramifications, and not just one.
That's right. And it's kind of like if you're a Braves fan and you're scoreboard watching the Mets and the Diamondbacks, like, there's going to be a lot of paying attention to what other teams are doing nationally to see how you stack up. And Kent State with a hold on 3rd and short. Tennessee will be, well, they're not going to bring the kicking team on the field. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1. You like this?
They did get stopped last time down, so a couple tight ends trotting into the game. Charlie Browder, Mike Bethea, a couple reserve tight ends. Let's see if Tennessee can win the line of scrimmage this time. Penn State did a great job of holding them to 3 last time down.
670 yards of offense for Tennessee. They need one more to pick up the first down. And they get it. Cole, we talked a lot about the 12 personnel with its 2 tight ends for Tennessee. How do you think that plays out against some of the more physical teams in this league? Namely, I don't know, Texas comes to mind. How does that help them in those matchups versus what Josh Heupel's offensive identity has been?
It gives you options. You have bigger bodies to help in protection. If you want Nico to try to cut him loose, push the ball down the field, more physicality in the run game. But keep in mind, too, Jordan's talked about those quick throws to the perimeter. Now you can motion a tight end out there. If a defense goes bigger with bigger personnel, you keep your screen game, quick game going, but you have a bigger blocker outside also. This gives you a lot of different options.
1st and goal, Merklinger keeps it.
We hear this a lot, Tom, too. Like I told you last week, I saw 3 new formations that Tennessee ran that I didn't see a lot of last year. Now you got to prepare for those. You have to spend practice time on those formations with extra tight ends in the game and how you're going to defend it. And what they're doing with the tight ends in the run game, same side counter, insert, split zone where they throw a touchdown pass. And then you saw 87 block, release, be wide open for a touchdown pass last week. All that helps.
3/4 of play, Tennessee 68, Kent State nothing.
Fun, memories, friendship. We're here for all of it.
Merklinger fires and incomplete.
Trying to get that little pop pass again to the tight end. Really accurate ball, just a lot of heat on that one. That's tough to bring down in traffic.
Third and goal. Merklinger hands it off, and that'll set up a 4th and goal on the run by Peyton Lewis.
Think they kick it this time? No, they're staying out there. No, they're going to kick it. Another big defensive stop here by Kent State. Maybe, just maybe, a momentum change is happening.
So you're saying there's a chance?
It's all that 1 in a million talk.
A 21-yard field goal attempt for Max Gilbert. He's already made one from 36. Good. A 71-point outburst. Stick with us. When we return, you're going to hear an interview from one of the most precocious young future football stars in America. He's a Mays kid. He's coming up next.
What's up with your dad, Chloe?
Ever since he got AT&T's best deal on the new Samsung Galaxy, he's been up on his high horse.
I'd say right now it's Cooper, but I think it's going to be me when I grow up.
You told me you now earlier.
I think I will be.
Are you the Monopoly King?
What is it?
The Monopoly King.
Hopefully.
All right, so I heard that Cooper loves Cracker Barrel. Who eats more Cracker Barrel, you or Cooper?
Definitely Cooper. I don't think so.
Tell me the coolest part about having a brother that plays for Tennessee.
It's just so cool that just saying that your brother is a college football player and just having the amazement of seeing him on the field, that's probably the best part about it.
But you're proud of those guys. You send them a voice text every week to both brothers, right?
Yes, sir.
Tennessee.
That's a really hard thing to say. It would probably be in the NFL.
How much bigger are you than your friends?
Oh, a lot bigger.
All right. Camp, thank you. He's an Instagram star, fellas. His brothers made an Instagram for him. It's camp.maze, by the way, if you guys want to go check that out. Initially, when Kevin and Melinda sat down 13 and 15-year-old Cooper and Cade to tell them that Melinda was pregnant, they said, we have something serious to tell you, something serious to talk about. And Cooper got upset and said, oh, no, you're getting a divorce. They said, no, calm down. It's okay. He said, you're going to have a little brother, a little sister. We're pregnant. To which Cooper turned and responded, oh, you guys still do that? Now, also, you talk about, Jordan, how about this? You talk about awareness at 13 years old. Cooper then says to his parents, oh, great. So now I'm going to go from the little brother that everybody picks on to the middle brother that nobody cares about.
That's amazing.
J.B. Awolowo was the injured Kent State player. He gets helped off the field. You told us another story that the brothers shared, and here's a big run by J.D. Sherrod down the sideline in the longest play of the night for Kent State. And the story goes, as I understand, Cole, is that Camp and the other brothers were playing Monopoly, and Camp kind of got a little bit of a big head, and to your point, thought he was Monopoly king.
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. So they dominated him, and this photo is the end result. What did Camp say after he got run off the Monopoly table?
Well, he was upset. Cade actually told me he pouted for about an hour, completely melted down. And then Kevin, his father, told me, he said, Cole, the best part about it was he looked up and he says, I just need a minute, guys. Just give me a minute. Can you imagine those two as your older brothers? I mean, you talk about being tough as nails when you grow up. That kid, nothing anyone does to him is going to phase him when he gets older.
And part of that is because the age gap, right? I mean, it's not like he's a couple years younger or a year younger. By the way, he's going to have a great day at school on Monday, I predict.
Oh. Also, wears a size 10 men's shoe. Right? He's 9 years old. And his foot's bigger than Tom's.
Camp's going to look at his Instagram later. All 14 people watching right now are going to have followed him.
I told him Jordan might help him out with the Instagram followers.
Brew McCoy's dad is sitting there going, this guy is sitting next to me, and the 9-year-old is turning into a TV star before my very eyes. 2nd and 7. And the great run by J.D. Sherrod. 71 points tonight for Tennessee, by the way. Most for the Volunteers in the AP poll era since 1936. And the 4 touchdowns for Dylan Sampson on the ground. Second most in the game behind Gene McKeever, who scored 5 against South Carolina in 1929.
And still have not allowed a touchdown in now 15 quarters.
Yeah, defensive touchdown, right?
Defensive touchdown. Yep.
Turnover that they turned into a score.
So that record now getting pushed here by Sherrod and this Kent State team as they drive here in the 4th quarter.
Oh, crunch.
Wow.
We have seen teams agree to shorten the quarters. That is not apparently going to be the case tonight. And so we'll play a full 4th quarter, and that leaves a lot more scoring records in place for this Tennessee team. And you know, you can understand if you're Kent State and head coach Kenny Burns. He was telling us this week about the struggles that they had when they took over Minnesota, but the promise that they got from administration, take your time, build this thing the right way. With PJ Fleck, they were 1-11 in their first season, and I think as a coach to listen, doesn't get much easier. They got to go to Penn State next week, but to have that confidence that you can take the time to build the right way, it doesn't make this result any better for Kent State, but big picture, you can still be making progress towards your plan even with a result like this.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that Kenny Burns, after last year going 1-11, got a contract extension, right? Because they were able to sign so many guys from high school to try to recruit and develop and build it the right way, and then dipped into the transfer portal this offseason to try to add some value as well. So he's building it for the long term, and Kent State behind him. And like you said, these games super important for their budget. As a program, that's always of utmost importance.
Yeah, they're going to take home a check, you know, roughly $1.3 million. Get another big one from Penn State next week. Athletic department budget in the $30 million range. That goes a long way. 3rd down.
And those checks much easier to write for a school like Tennessee when the result is like it is tonight.
As opposed to Florida State paying Memphis over $1 million to come in and beat them.
Or Notre Dame.
Another 3rd down stop for this Tennessee defense that held Kent State to 2 for 12 on 3rd downs tonight.
Farouk again said his name once before. True freshman. Getting some opportunity here late in the game. This is how this defense under Tim Banks improved, right? They were hit so hard by the injury bug his first couple seasons. They just built so much depth, so much experience. So even games like this, giving a lot of these true freshmen an opportunity to get their feet wet for the first time.
51-yard attempt. Gotta leave with some points and something positive, and it is short. The shutout is still in play. Tennessee 71, Kent State nothing. Time to buy some gear.
Okay, everybody got their Dos Equis playbooks? Good. There's only one play. Go for Dos. That means when we get a chance to go big, we take it.
Oklahoma for Tennessee and OU. Navy Schuler now in at quarterback for Tennessee. Fourth different quarterback the Volunteers have seen. All right, so Tennessee fans going to Norman maybe for the first time. They were there a couple dozen years ago. Here's my recommendation. Midway Deli. Fantastic sandwiches. Little hole-in-the-wall house right there north of campus. And we are now Norman experts because we've all been there one time. So what else can they look out for on their trip to Norman?
Well, I was only there for about 8 hours, so I didn't get to partake in
anything.
The scene as you did.
It is, by the way, the game day atmosphere is legit.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and it is very SEC worthy, I think, from a game day atmosphere standpoint.
Yeah, the passion, the pageantry. I love the stadium. Cole probably doesn't so much, but the stands go right down to the benches almost. I mean, the opposing bench is going to be able to get, grab a French fry from someone in the front row if they want it, which makes a really cool and hostile environment for visiting teams.
You mentioned that offensive line for Oklahoma has been banged up, getting healthier. Two very young, promising quarterbacks, and Jackson Arnold, obviously for OU, as Schuler gets a couple of yards on the left side, and Yamaliava for Tennessee. That'll be, well, those are two elite quarterbacks with high ceilings and a lot of promise. Another injured Kent State player. 7:47 remaining in the fourth quarter. You promised to support our sponsors. We understand. We're back in a moment.
We love home internet from T-Mobile. Now Mesh boosts Wi-Fi.
And last year, when Brew McCoy suffered that devastating injury against South Carolina, he found support from her students. He's just a sampling of the get well cards that he got, and so Brew made a visit to South Knoxville Elementary to thank the teacher and her students for their support. Read some Dr. Seuss to them. I wonder what they thought of the Lorax and what amazing pictures that came from that visit. Ryan Damron is now in at quarterback, and they go straight ahead, and Albaca is injured, it seems.
Damron getting the series. Navy Schuler got a series. There's a few things that are certain in life, Tom.
What's that?
Death, taxes, and anytime a quarterback's wearing number 21, your team probably had a good night.
Yeah, great night. Homage to Heath. 71-point night. Tana Nicely supporting Brew even today. Part of Fall Walk this afternoon here in Knoxville.
We want it all. We want beards and lattes.
Great. One was going to be close, but a
Brock
1-point
Vandegrift already
game.
has 12 completions, twice as many tonight against an incredible Georgia defense.
Well, actually 4 times as many. He only had 3 last week.
3? I thought you said 6.
Well, Gavin Wimsatt had a couple as
that's
well.
right. Ryan Damron from Paris, Tennessee, out of Henry County High School. There's a replica Eiffel Tower in Paris, Tennessee. Nice little splash pad for the kids next door.
I did know that.
Have you been there?
No, I'm totally kidding. Why would I know that? Why would I know that?
I don't know.
That's why
the Eiffel Tower is one thing. They should have a Louvre.
That's why the Body Farm needs to study you, because you know those type of things.
Well, my laptop knows a lot of these things, and when it's 71-0, you have a chance to look it up. And just like we looked up, the Tennessee record for yards was set against Missouri in 2022. That was 724. They are 4 yards from that mark right now. This is just the third 700-yard offensive game in Tennessee football history. It is also the 7th game where they've rushed for over 400. The Volunteers have rushed for 436. And this is now the 4th most. They went for 5-13 against Washington and Lee in 1951. Neither one of them could stop him.
There it is.
And they just keep churning.
Hunter Barnes picking up the more than the 4 they needed to set the record.
What do we got going on there? Is that an injury or are they stuck together? The center judge is trying to help these guys out.
No, they're getting scissors out,
Yeah.
Tom. Trainers out there getting scissors. They are definitely
Shoelaces?
stuck together.
How does that happen?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've never seen that in my life.
Well, maybe if they're both wearing pack rats and the Velcro got stuck together, I would understand. But that was really weird.
We've seen helmets before. The face masks get locked together. I've never seen.
Saw the face mask come completely dislodged for a Tennessee defensive lineman last week. First time I had seen that.
What just happened?
I think the shoelace was wrapped around one of the spikes on the bottom of his shoe.
But then why would they have to cut it?
If it got up
Here's
underneath.
a look at it.
Oh,
it is. You're
yeah,
absolutely
it
right.
is.
It was underneath the spike. Our pets' heads are falling off.
What are we doing? Swami.
Put that in the sideline
Samson.
analyst description.
Samsonite. Dylan Samson.
Breaking down shoelaces attached to cleats.
Beautiful run again and a physical run. Are you a double bow guy, a loophole swoop, or you take it around, take the rabbit around the tree?
I take the rabbit around the tree.
Yeah. Hunter Barnes, another run.
I never understood the double bow. When I see people do that, it confuses me.
It seems very inefficient, doesn't it?
Well, one bow wrapping. Anyways, 2nd and 7.
We've gotten to the shoe tying portion of tonight's broadcast. We appreciate you sticking around. 736 yards of offense for Tennessee, 91 for Kent State.
Tom, you mentioned the rushing numbers tonight, over 400 yards under Josh Heupel. That would now make 26 of his 42 games they've gone over 200 yards on the ground. 6 times they've gone over 300 yards on the ground, and now twice over 400 yards.
But I thought this was a passing offense
that likes to run the ball first.
Mm-hmm. They're down 6. I went to a game, Missouri at Texas A&M, as a fan, where A&M won 73-0. It was.
You stayed the whole time?
Yeah. No. We ended up at the Dixie Chicken. The good news is the A&M fans were so nice we didn't pay for a beer all weekend.
Oh.
But it was such a blowout that the 12th man, you know, the guy who wears that number 12 jersey, came to the game at running back and scored a touchdown. Not pretty.
What do you think we're doing here? I think we're going to go for it. 4th and 5. Okay.
You know, it would be unsportsmanlike to kick a field goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's
maybe. And Tennessee stop. They're not. Man, what a push. They are indeed stopped. And the first time tonight a drive does not end in points for Big Orange.
2 minutes.
We got a Big Orange beatdown. 71-0. Nice hats.
Every little bit counts.
Parents, we still need more donations for the fundraiser. Oh, Bill? Hey, Bill, do you have a second?
Oh.
Game day will be there next week, and ABC Prime Time matchup between Oklahoma and Tennessee. Their first matchup is SEC
False
foes.
start. Number 70 on the offense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute 58 seconds. 1-5-8.
Chris Farrell getting some run here. Fourth quarter for Kent State.
Thank you.
You're welcome. From the checkerboard, a handoff to find some breathing room and a positive play for Kent State. Jordan Lowe with the carry. Kentucky had to punt it away, and Georgia gets the football back up 1 with under 3 minutes to go. J.D. Sherrod tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Give me a key for Tennessee and Oklahoma.
I think it'd probably be Nico just protecting the football. He's going to have opportunity to take shots, but Billy Bowman on the back end for Oklahoma is as good as it gets. As a ball hawk, making plays on the football, Oklahoma is as disruptive as it gets on that side of the ball, forcing turnovers, one of the best in the country over the last couple years. So just continuing to make smart decisions with the football. We heard Josh Heupel tell us that he didn't feel his quarterback has put the ball in harm's way at all this year. You know, one interception last week, he got hit on. The other interception, he said Brew kind of throttled down a little bit. And he actually liked the throw, liked the spot he put it in. So continue to protect the football because of how you run the football, because of how good this defense is playing. And I think they should win that football game.
Wow, you heard it here first.
But a game with that kind of emotion can go any way. But the emotions of Josh Heupel with what he saw tonight, nothing but ecstatic. From the starters to the fifth string that we saw here in the fourth quarter. A complete performance from this Tennessee football team.
71-0. And now a word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
There's something special about this time of year. It's fun. And it all starts here. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there.
Josh Heupel is with Cole.
Coach Heupel, a lot of opportunity for letdown in this game. Your team didn't give you any of that. I know that has to make you proud.
Played for 4 quarters, challenged them at halftime. They responded, came out and played good football in the second half too.
Offensively pretty clean, rushing attack there, physicality. Is there anything you saw that you wanted to get that you didn't tonight?
There's some things that we got to clean up still. You know, all 11 guys, there's things to clean up. Same time, you know, you always appreciate every win. Defensively played really hard, played really physical. Some things to clean up there too.
Coach, when you're able to put this win behind you, turn the page. We know what's next. College game day going to be in Norman. How do you manage your emotions personally this week leading up to that one?
Man, this is about, you know, us traveling out there. 2 really good football teams. Be a great environment, ready to go compete. Tonight we're going to enjoy this one, though.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Tennessee scores their most points since 1929 when they hung 73 on the boys from Foggy Bottom. That was a win against Carson Newman. Tonight they rack up 740 yards of total offense, and that includes 456 yards on the ground in a 71-0 final. Oklahoma is up next. For Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik, our fantastic crew, that'll do it from Knoxville, Tennessee. Plenty to catch you up on throughout the league, and let's do that with the gang in the studio. Here's Dari.
All right, guys, thank you much.